Come a little closer. I want you to forget what you think you know about the world. See, tonight, we're not talking about maps or any charted territory. We are talking about the spaces in between, the places where all the lines get blurry, and your destiny is written, or maybe rewritten. Look, I've walked these paths. I've seen the ancient markers with my own eyes. This isn't just some story I'm spinning, it's a warning. The choices you're going to face are real, and the ones watching, well, they're older than the mountains. So you need to listen, because one day you might just find yourself standing at a crossroads like this. So let's start with that, a traveler's warning about the places where paths both end and begin. You felt it before, haven't you? Standing at the edge of some gnarled forest where the path just dissolves. Or maybe on a desolate, dusty crossroads under a bruised-looking sky. It's that feeling that you're no longer in the comfortable center of your world, but you're teetering on the very, very edge of it. You know, the old tales, they have a name for these places. They call them liminal spaces. But they aren't just locations on a map. They are moments of transition, stretched out into a physical form. It's here that the veil between worlds thins, and what's normally unseen can be encountered. And you don't just wander into these places by accident. No, you're brought here. Usually when your life reaches some kind of breaking point. A decision is required of you, and it's one so profound it will alter the very fabric of who you are. And the consequences? Believe me, they are eternal. But here's the thing, you are not alone at these thresholds. They're governed, they're watched. Two great and terrible powers hold dominion over these forks in the road, and the path you choose, well, that determines which master you have to answer to. First, let's talk about the merchant, the broker of desire who waits where the paths meet, in these neat geometric lines. See, he offers a deal, not a judgment. Just picture it, a crossroads, stark and clear. 4 directions under a wide open sky. It feels simple, right? Almost mundane. There might even be an old stone marker there, worn smooth by centuries of wind. But please don't be fooled by its simplicity. This place has immense power. It's a stage. The authority here, he has a title, and it's one that's whispered in fear, the King of the Crossroads. And in this domain, his rule is absolute. This is the domain of Mephistopheles. Sure, a demon lord, yes, but I want you to think of him more as a specialist. He's the master of the fork in the road, the ultimate broker of our mortal ambitions. And people don't just stumble upon him by accident. No, he is summoned by those who've run out of all other options, who are desperate for a shortcut to power or fame or love. Now this is crucial, so listen up. The crossroads is not a court of law. There is no right or wrong here, no good or evil. It's a marketplace, a stage, where you can gamble everything that you are for everything that you want. And the process itself, it's deceptively simple. You find the intersection, you summon the king, you state your desire. A pact is forged, written not in ink, but in will. And then comes the final, irrevocable step. Your soul is bound. And that is the cold, hard reality of the crossroads. Your soul isn't weighed for its virtue or its sin. It is simply currency. It's just the cost of doing business with the king. Okay, so let's move now, away from the clean lines of the road and into the tangled chaos of the forest. Because there is another path, and it's governed by a very different and much, much older kind of power. This threshold isn't neat at all. It's the wild, ragged edge of the woods, a place of gnarled, ancient trees whose roots clutch the earth like skeletal fingers. This is where the world of man just frays and comes undone and meets the primeval unknown. And these chaotic boundaries are the domain of another sovereign entirely, not a merchant, but a god, an ancient, primal force of nature, of sacrifice, and of wisdom that can only be earned through suffering. His name is Wotan. Wotan's sacred places are raw. They're brutal. Places like the gallows tree, where life and death literally hang in the balance, or the forest's edge, where the veil is so thin you can almost hear the dead whisper. This is no place for a negotiation. It's a place of harsh truths, real sacrifice, and ancient wisdom. And right there, that's the fundamental difference. In the deep woods, under the shadow of Wotan, your fate is not an item for barter. It can't be sold for some prize.
No. In the untamed wilderness, your fate is weighed. It's tested, it's judged, not by some contract, but by your willingness to endure an ordeal, to make a true sacrifice. It's a trial, not a transaction.
So you have two masters, two thresholds, a pact, or a sacrifice. The choice needs to be made crystal clear. So let's be absolutely clear about the choice. At the crossroads, you meet the merchant, Mephistopheles. It's a transaction. A pact is forged. Your soul is the price. But at the forest edge, you face the god, Vuitton. And that is an ordeal. Your fate is weighed. A sacrifice is demanded. Not of your soul, but maybe of your comfort, your certainty, maybe even your life. All for a deeper truth. All of this, it brings us to a central idea, a concept the old storytellers called the geometry of fate. It's this belief that the physical shape of the land, the crossroads, the forest edge, is a perfect mirror for the moral choice that you're facing. The landscape itself is the dilemma. The geometry is stark when you think about it. The clean, simple lines of that crossroads, they offer a clear, simple deal, an exchange. But the tangled, chaotic roots of the forest, they offer no such clarity. They demand a struggle, a trial, a journey through the absolute unknown.
But make no mistake, despite all their differences, both are masters of that liminal space. Both Mephistopheles and Wotan, they exist to remind us of a terrible and wonderful truth. Our choices aren't abstract, they're real. They have shape, they have dimension, and they have a place in this world.
And that brings us to the final warning, the one about your fate. You see, these stories, these archetypes of the merchant and the god, they've survived for centuries. Not to scare children around a campfire, no. They're here to serve as a map, a guide for when you, yourself, arrive at the edge of an impossible, life-altering choice. I want you to remember this. Every single path you choose, every boundary you dare to cross, it has a weight, a real, tangible consequence that will follow you for the rest of your days. Nothing is without its price. And so, the crossroads, the forest edge, these places remain powerful symbols for us. They represent that terrifying but also electrifying moment where your own free will comes face to face with the unchangeable, unstoppable forces of fate itself. So, I'll leave you with this. Imagine yourself there right now. You are standing at the threshold. The road in front of you offers a clean transaction. The woods to your side demand a painful trial. The merchant or the god? A deal or a sacrifice? Which path do you take? Which master will you answer? Choose wisely.